Shalom. Today we have a very special Torah portion called Shoftim, which means judges. And I'm here recording live from the jungle behind Susan Ford Collins' house. In our Torah portion, Moses was commanded to find judges to help the Jewish people as they enter the Promised Land, to make the transition from having a slave mentality to living as free people, to coming from a land where they have to serve to a land where they will have to fulfill laws. They will be more compassionate, more godly, and more inclusive. In order to do that, was not enough for Moses to co-dream with the Jewish people. He needed to create leaders, to create that image, that dream to come alive and hold the image for the entire Jewish people of a land where they could truly be free. Now for us people living in the 21st century, it's very difficult for us to try to identify with the concept of people that had a slave mentality, but not so. According to David Kessler, the ex-director of the FDA, the person in charge of our what we eat and the drugs we take, we are a nation of people that are addicted to foods that are an addictive, toxic mix, a mix between sugar, sodium, and fat that releases dopamine in our brain, just like the worst drugs that we try to avoid, like heroin, alcohol, cigarettes, or cocaine. Today, we know a lot of people that go on diets. Have you noticed how very few of them really lose weight? Let me break you some news. Among the people that are able to lose weight, that are a fraction of those people, between 5 and 10% of them are able to keep the weight loss maintained after a period of 2 years. I was able to lose 100 pounds, and I have kept it off for over 5 years. How is that possible? The secret is what led us to write the Miracle Diet. Susan and I have done a huge research regarding this addiction that we have in our brain for sugar and fat and sodium that we call this addictive toxic mix. And that's why the other diets don't work, because as long as you continue eating a little bit of those foods, you remain addicted to them. Once you're off those foods, you are allowed to eat a huge amount of food and still not gain weight and lose weight. Look at the families in the 50s when they all ate those wholesome foods that were not highly processed or fast food. If we just eat God's food, and don't make a mistake, God's food also have salt, sugar, and fat, but is done in the proper proportion, not in a proportion to addict us, but in a proportion to feed our body and make those chemical ingredients fulfill their function in our body rather than release dopamine and make us even more addicted. One time I met a wise person that told me that you could measure the level of happiness of the individual according to the amount of things that would not enslave them. I feel that I'm happier today because this food addiction do not enslave me anymore. Today, we are not sending 10 plagues to a pharaoh, a terrible taskmaster. Our threat comes more likely from a clown in a yellow suit offering us cheap, convenient food in every corner. God has created for us this amazing, miraculous body. And to feed this body, He has created this outstanding food full of nutrients. If we just eat what is meant for humans to eat, do it. Please join us in a journey of your lifetime. Shalom.
Raise your hands, raise your hands.